Look at the bottom lane, it's pushed in. Pats will have to TP in. The tier 3 is getting pressured, but pretty good fight for Void Boys.
It was actually pretty equal. Like, Void Boys did get a small gold advantage there, but I don't think that was bad for Archon. I think they're going to be pretty happy with that. The Phoenix was able to solo kill Avenge. He's got his level 2 ulti now. That's really important since it's going to take 8 attacks to destroy instead of 5. A massive difference. And he's farming up a mech as well, which he's pretty much finished with. So he's going to be able to help his team a lot in team fights.
Alright. The Sanj, not into a Sanj and Yashi yet. They have mech coming right now for Whitebeard. The fight. It's going to come soon, I hope, for Archon. They actually probably will lose the Sages before they do decide to fight. And I mean, do they fight here, or do they just back up and farm more? I mean, you look at late game, you could argue that Archon actually have really good late game potential. You have the TA, you have the Beastmaster, you have the Gyrocopter, maybe even the good team fight from the Oracle, as well as the Phoenix. But regardless, they're going to smoke up, and they're going to look for a target. And the target is 747, it looks like.
Yeah, it's a really good time to gank him here. JO's walking at him, and they see it coming.
Mega Opponent will actually scout things out. There's going to be the Fortune's End. Now the Stone Gaze will fly. The Roar comes through. He's got no mana left to call down. Almost bring him down. Monkey's Fervor will actually do the job with the help of Whitebeard. And that Fire Spirit coming in. Necro 3 now completed as well for the Beastmaster. So a big pick that might allow them to take yet another tower here for Archon.
Really nice presence of mind to have a smoke ready to go and putting the trap on the ancient spot. So by spotted on 1430 or 747. Makes it really hard for him to get farm, and now he's up to 3 deaths, I believe. And he lost a lot of his mana just by tanking Ancients, and that's one of the downsides to doing Ancients on Medusa this early. You just don't really have the damage just yet. He's going for Linken's first, but Archon is snowballing their advantage here despite being behind in kills.
Archon are going to work on the high ground now.
I just don't see the advantage that they got from picking the Medusa just yet. Oh,
They're going to pop up the ultimate. Now the Chronosphere comes out. Now Moo in trouble. He looks like he will fall. Gets the Mega up just in time. Time dilation. They actually Icarus dive in. There's the Supernova, but he looks like he might fall. Look at this right click coming up from 747. And the Primal Split Broodlings as well. And JO's in trouble though. Rocket Barrage will not do enough to save him. They'll get off the Fate's Eating, but now they've lost 3. They got a little bit cocky there, looking for that fight. Monkeys and Pandago trying to get out, but there's the swap away. Monkeys, he's got Blink in 5. They're going to lose 4 here. And Void Boy turning it all around. Monkeys is going to be able to blink out in just a second. Where will he go? He's going to blink a little bit further into the tree line, then TP away, and now it's straight down mid for Void Boys.
I didn't see Pandago's ult come off there. I think he kind of felt like it was a lost cause, but maybe he could have ultied the Gyrocopter and turned things around a bit. But as a whole, the Supernova was a bit poorly placed there. It was a little too close to the high ground, and they were able to right-click it down. It's the hardest thing about playing Phoenix is choosing exactly where to put your Supernovas. If you're too close, you get killed. If you're too far away, it does almost no damage. So you have to find that perfect medium that makes them bait in.
Here we go, Monkeys will jump through. There's going to be the Roar. They can't afford to lose 747 again. He's just not at his Linken's Fury, and that's a really big item to avoid that Roar. Fly's going to go ahead and TP out. He actually will make it away. They don't have any more disables coming through, as that was it. And they'll take the tier 1 tower, but they will lose Medusa in the end.
And Beastmaster is such a good Dusa counter. You just roar her, and you run your Necros, and then you mana burn her, and she's dead. It's that simple. Like, when this Archer uses his 225 mana burn, that is actually doing, like, a 600 damage nuke. It's like a line Finger of Death is the equivalent damage it does by draining 225 mana. It's really amazing. Not to mention that you also just take damage from that. It actually does more than that. It probably does more like 800 damage. So the Necro 3 alone is just a massive Medusa counter. It makes it so hard for her to play the game. Now once she does have the Linken's, she's gonna be in a much better place, but she's completely been a liability on her team. It's not necessarily because 747's playing bad, it's just the hero's really hard to utilize in a strong way. Against the Archon's lineup, it doesn't really hard counter that much of their things, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she has good right click to take down the Supernova Egg, but other than that,
yeah.
I mean, her presence is not really felt in a team fight yet. It's mostly the Void, it's mostly the Panda coming in, and a lot of magic damage as well. So she needs to get a little bit more farm. She does have the Linken's Sphere when she respawns, which is right now. She's up and she's back towards that top lane, but Archon are just not looking to say, hey, we want to fight in right now. We don't really care. They're going to push in a little bit, and maybe they're going to wait, actually, because they're still, the Patsoul just got by his Primal Split. They actually have the Chronosphere back up for Faceless Void as well. So yeah, they're going to back up now. And they might go for another Roche too. When is that going to respawn? Oh, it's a full duration. God, they're going to have to wait forever.
Wow.
That sucks.
I don't think I've ever seen it so close to the max limit before.
Alright, we are back. We have no frame drops. We have We've had a rough time. I will apologize for that profusely. There was absolutely no issues coming out from Time Warner Cable whatsoever during the Shanghai qualifiers, and there are now, clearly. It looks to be stable as of right now, so hopefully it stays that way. I want to make sure that you guys understand that I wish I could have foreseen this coming, but actually when it happens, it just happens. Time Warner kind of shits the bed from time to time, and, well, we're back into the game now. We'll actually see the end of it, and I don't think you guys missed that much. Maybe a couple of teams.
Now, this game could definitely still go both ways. It's looking like the KDA, it looks so weird. Like, I would say Archon definitely has an advantage right now. Void Voice has more kills, but I'm feeling better about Archon's chances due to the Medusa being semi-shut down.
Yeah, I mean, it's still only a 2,000 net worth advantage. A couple of fights going their way, and then they threw one back towards that mid lane when they pushed into the tier 3. Experience-wise, it's actually almost even. And maybe the smoke, Void Boys will be able to find something, but they just actually break it by just going out and into that Hawk. There is no ward here, but it doesn't matter.
Dude, Brewmaster has a Shiva's Guard already. That's a really cool aura item to pick up first. A lot of players might think like, oh, well, you get the Vlads first. Well, they've already got a Vlads, right? So then you go for your next item. I don't know, you could go maybe Ags or something, but he gets a Shiva's instead, and that will apply the aura when he splits, and that's going to be a lot of attack speed reduction in the early game, and it's going to offset basically what Brewmaster is accomplishing. I'm sorry, Beastmaster by giving attack speed aura. So kind of an interesting purchase. He can activate Shiva's, Blink, and Clap, do a ton of slow in the fight, and then start off in a good way.
Yeah, Patzel getting farmed up, getting beefy, and doing a lot of damage in the process. They're going to go ahead and just take down this tier 1 tower down bottom, and I think this is the right play from Archon. They have to find a pick or find a way to maybe take Roche or get a fight that goes their way without having to deal with split, without having to deal with Stone Gates, without having to deal with the Chronosphere as well. And so they'll take down the tier 2 tower top lane. That was just a trade for a tier 1, so I believe they're pretty happy with that. 747 actually almost got caught there. If that was the Beastmaster, you would have gotten roared, but instead it was JO TPing in. And we're back to farming square one. But Pat Soul, oh, Pandago, don't walk up the high ground, Shiva's Guard. What are you doing, buddy? The magic missile, I think he wanted the ward to get down, but I mean, that's just not worth it, man, at all. Jesus.
I think he just didn't anticipate them being there. Sometimes you do have to do aggressive things to get wards, and it might have been safer to walk through the lane. But, you know, you don't always have that opportunity, so he ends up getting killed. A small mistake there, but sometimes you gotta run uphill.
They have a good ward here, spotting out whatever Archon's movements are going to be. So Jo as well as Moo, they'll drop down the Hawk. But here we go, some aggressive play coming up from Patzel. Shiva's Guard's going to go. He gets up with Moo. He's looking for that clap. He'll find it. The split will come out just as the Necro 3s do as well. And now look at the damage. Look at the right click coming through, and look at a big opponent coming in. They get the Chrono to Whitebeard as well, and Void Boys are turning it. Mystic Snake, Magic Missile, Fly gets a double kill because, you know, support life. You always want to get that money for you. Jo getting chased down. They actually have the Storm Panda that can Cyclone him up there, but he actually just loses it. Patzel will still maybe look for this blink and clap. He'll actually just head out and look for a TP scroll instead. They'll get 2 quick kills, maybe not Monkeys Forever, who's a very big target, who just took down that tier 3 tower. But they might be able to chase him down. There's going to be the Stone Gaze, the swap back, Magic Missile, not there yet. There it goes. And now they're going to lose Monkeys, and another big kill. And Fly will get 3. All 3 in that fight will go his way, and he's now up to 1,800 gold. And they're not done yet. They were chasing after Jo. He came in a little bit deep, but he will be able to just phase out with his SNY. They're still looking, but no Chrono off cooldown for Schwan. And maybe it's time to go ahead and roast for them.
Really nice little pickups from Void Boys there. A small mistake for Monkeys. He could have stayed in Viz and gotten stunned by the Medusa and not been spotted. So he did break his meld, and then he got killed afterwards. Faces Void's almost got the dreaded Aghanim Scepter. Again, Faces Void just hasn't died yet. And once you get Ags on Void, it gets a lot scarier here. Really big Sunray.
That Sunray damage is on all 5. And Jo, he can maybe just throw down that call down, but gets Magic Missile instead. They'll have to back up the Fate's Edict will go. He'll get Purifying Flamed up as well. Pandago will take a Mystic Snake or 2, and then they'll back up. So the Void Boys actually just have trouble Roshan. Like, they don't have armor reduction, they don't have much damage outside of their team fight. That is the big issue right now. You look at Monkeys Forever, he's like, okay, I've got a Desolate, I have a freaking Moonshard, and I have Meld. Easy Roche. It's not the same for Void Boys, though, Purge.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised that Shiva's Guard was so fast. I think not only did he farm it fast, but also there isn't that much Shiva's competition for the rush. There's not a lot of heroes that actually buy rapidly, but on Brewmaster it works out really good this game. Against Mana Drain, you want to increase your mana pool. If you want an attack speed aura to reduce your opponent's damage, that's really good as well. So I really like the pickup in that case.
Zeus ult will come out. They have the Blink Dagger now from Moo. There is no ward. They countered this, by the way. They'll smoke up now, and maybe they will head into Roche. They should see this coming, though. Void Boys might situate themselves around the pit. They even have Schwan nearby. He could jump in with a blink, chrono, and time walk out. He's actually going to find the rune, then time walks away. They'll jump in with monkeys. He's got the side trap. Will drop it down. He's going to pop the time dilation, but now Moo looking for a roar. But there's the chrono to Patzel, but jumps in as the chrono is down. They get the Fate's Edict off. Patzel will get off the primal split before taking too much damage, and Moo's going to get hounded. Look at the damage to monkeys as well. Holy crap. They get him destroyed, and they're looking for JOS. They've already lost 3 Void Boys, taking this and bringing it back in their favor. And Jay will be the next to fall. Magic Missile and a double kill for 747, who now is his Yasha Lincoln plus 3,300. The Cyclone comes out. They'll find Payday. This is going to be a 5-man wipe. Archon will lose all 5, but it's a triple kill for 747, who's now up to 3.6k. And now they will take Roche. Nobody to interrupt them.
My god, now their team fight is coming together really strong, man. Chronosphere on 2 important heroes like that is just too dangerous, and it was very unfortunate for Archon that they went for that. I feel like they maybe should have backed up. Like, it's not safe to fight up that hill, basically, and they were doing a smoke on it, but maybe they felt like they're behind and they needed to get advantage. And, like, looking at the numbers from our perspective, for most of the game it looked like Archon was ahead, but I felt like Void Boys should have been ahead, and maybe that's why Archon feels weird about the game and why they're acting a little desperate. Maybe they're just making mistakes, but that could partially explain why they did a desperation move like running uphill after their smoke got broke.
Yeah. Archon playing a little bit loose. That might be a byproduct of playing with Fandango, might be a byproduct of winning the majors, or it's just that, like you mentioned, this game is a bit weird. And that maneuver up towards that high ground, that was completely weird. I agree with you. That was just not the best place for them to fight. Pat Soul getting off the Shivas, the clap, and now the Aghanim Scepter is done, as if they didn't need any more help for Schwan. He now has an extra second onto his Chronosphere with 6 seconds now. That's pretty damn good. Plus the cooldown.
Yeah, the cooldown's the big thing, honestly. Going from 100 seconds to 60 seconds, you can use that in almost basically every fight. You can use it for ganks, and you're going to have Chronosphere up by the next time a fight happens, as long as they're not happening close to your base. So it's really, really good item. And at this point, this is the area where Void offlane just looks completely overpowered due to AoE stuns being so good.
Yeah, Void offlane. A pretty big staple here of both American Dota, I think in general now, is this hero is going to see a lot of play at the majors if he's not changed. And maybe he doesn't have the best right click, but that's not what he's used for anymore. It's really just about the lockdown, and boy, is it good. Plus, time dilation is an amazing skill, and backtrack keeps you alive just fine, so it allows you to offlane easier. But
kind of makes me curious what they'll do to the hero when and if they do nerf him. I'm not sure if he needs a nerf just yet. He probably does, I would guess, based on his popularity and the few amount of times that I see him dying, but I'm not sure. Maybe, I don't think reducing his Chronosphere is, maybe that's too good or too heavy-handed, but I kind of feel like reducing the Chronosphere duration is maybe a good way to start, or increasing the cooldown. Because right now that's basically, like, time dilation is really good, obviously, and being able to stay alive with time walk is really good, but I feel like his ability to stay alive is too easy, in a way. Like, I see way too many Voids just never die by mid-game, and it's not just because of good plays.
You change time walk maybe, or time dilation, or maybe, you know, all 3 of those abilities with Chronosphere included. Just
I don't think you'd change him. I like Void's design right now. I just feel like he's maybe a little too good.
Tweak the numbers then.
Yeah, tweak the numbers, definitely.
Well, I imagine that will happen with a couple of other heroes as well. A couple of very strong heroes in this patch currently. And it feels like we're starting to kind of get into the meta right now. We obviously aren't at the majors just yet, but the qualifiers were pretty indicative of what the good heroes are, what the builds were, and what good teams will do with them. But we still have to wait and see what the top tier teams will pick up and play with, because again, all these top tier teams are a bit unpredictable, but we'll have to wait and see.
Petzl's playing pretty ridiculous right now. He's 8-0 and 12. He's got his Aghanim Scepter picked up now as well. His Midas more than paid off at this stage, and his damage potential as well during fights is going to be really good. When you do buy Ags, you get your other 2 basic skills. Your other 3 actually, when you split your pandas. So you can basically do a blink, clap, ulti, and then clap again immediately afterwards. So you're going to see a lot more damage output from the Brewmaster during team fights.
They're going to find Aurora. It's going to be in a fly. This is actually a bigger bounty than you might think. It's going to be a dominating spree go to Moo. That's going to be 670 gold. They're going to jump in the Chronosphere.
Wow.
Oh, just a bit off the mark, and he misses barely Schwan. Luckily, that is an Aghanim's Chrono, so it is only 54 seconds on cooldown, and he will get at least one of these Necro units before the other one hightails it out of there. A very good kill coming out from Moo. Pretty impressive stuff, even if it is just a support Venge. That will at least get him some extra gold going his way.
Yeah, when you're behind, you get anything you can, and that is a kill that'll make a big difference for Beastmaster here. His Lads is up now, so his overall damage contribution is good, but things are looking really dangerous now for Archon. Last 2 fights, they got pretty much one-sided stomped in them, so it's going to make it hard to win the game.
Zuso will go, they'll keep vision on Monkeys, who was getting chased down bottom. Pat still actually had his blink, but they knew that he was going to blink out with the refraction charges up, and they couldn't shoot through it. So instead, they're just going to go back to farming right now. I mean, that's the one scary thing about Archon, if you're Void Boys, is that the Templar Assassin, if she gets enough room, she could kill just about anybody on this team. The biggest problem is that there's a Chronosphere, there's Stone Gaze, there's so much lockdown right now, so Monkeys Forever has to... And this is, obviously, you don't want to buy BKB in this instance because of the Chronosphere. So I don't know what you do to stay alive in this situation.
It's definitely the nicest thing about the Void Boys draft. They drafted a lot of teamfight heroes which do deal with ATA very well, because she has to worry about those kinds of engagements. And now with Faces Void transitioning back into a carry build, described by Maelstrom now, like, there will be so many good solutions to dealing with her at this stage. Bashes are going to give multiple sources of damage, and the lightning coming out as well is just going to make it a really rough time for TA.
I mean, not to mention, if she has her refraction off, Omega Opponent is just going to go to work. This is without a Veil, this is without an Aghanim Scepter, obviously, but still doing a lot of damage. Almost level 3 ulti. He's got an Aether Lens, he's got his Force, he's got a Ghost Scepter. If he gets jumped on by a couple of these heroes. So the Zeus is also bursting out a lot of damage. The armor reduction coming out from the Vengeful Spirit, who now also has an Urn, Force Staff, and a Ghost Scepter. So all of their heroes are farmed, even their supports are. You look at Pandago, he's a bit lacking behind, obviously, with just the Arcane Boots, the Gem of True Sight, and the Cloak. But this game is not over yet. Archon, they definitely are behind, and Void Boys have a decisive advantage. They're going to head top, and let's see if they can make anything happen here.
The fights basically come down to the Chronospheres. It's the most instant ability that is going to prevent your opponents from doing anything about it. So there's a Zeus ult. They will spot out the solo Monkeys forever, but will they go on him?
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's about to back anyways, because he saw that they were looking for him in the river, as he was, I believe it was Moo going for the courier over at the secret shop. He was unsuccessful, and so the Zeus ult came a little late. If they had it earlier, they could have found that kill, but nonetheless, Void Boys will continue to farm. Very happy with what they have, and this is where it gets scary. We haven't really talked about the Dusa, but she has now a Manta, a Lincoln Sphere, and a Scotty. So the alternative to the Split and the Chronosphere is the Dusa just out-carrying you at this point, and she's pretty good at that.
Yeah, she's in a very, very good spot. They still have to worry about the mana drain. It's by far one of the best counters to Medusa, but the problem is that they can't do the Roar setup anymore due to the Lincoln Sphere being there. So until they grab an item that can break that before the Roar comes, then killing Medusa isn't even an option in these fights. So the game looks extremely difficult for Archon at this stage. They got a lot more advantage this game than I think they should have. They got a lot of tower advantage, but their last goal, I think, is either picking off heroes that are solo or split pushing.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. As the good is going to be called, and we're going to get back into the game. Roche is going to be up in who knows how long. It's just pretty soon that they roast pretty early, so let's see what they do next. More pushing, maybe try to find a team fight, maybe a smoke from Void Boys. There's a lot of options here for them. What is Monkeys buying next? He has 3.7k. Like I talked about, I mean, maybe you want BKB against the Primal Split, but again, there's a lot of things that go through BKB as well.
Yeah, and he could just get Chronosphered and lose 6 seconds of his BKB every fight. I almost feel like he just needs damage in some way, because he's already got a Moon Shard, right? So he's attacking stupidly fast. If he just buys like a Daedalus or something, and he can jump in and two-shot somebody.
That's what's going to jump in. He's going to go for the split. He will actually... Oh, False Promise will... And Moo actually does get Boulder Tossed, but he still should be okay. Blinks out as well, and Moo... Nope, there's going to be the Chronosphere coming out. They will lose just this one hero. Still, they get the Dusa out of it, which is pretty damn good for Archon.
That one is going to be worth it, yeah. Oracle gets 670 gold out of that.
Top tower is under
yeah,
attack.
That's one downside to Oracle, is you actually steal kills so much. Yeah. It's not really stealing because you're there, but you're always getting the kills. Makes the game a little bit weird for your team.
Just drop that Purifying Flames and boom, it's easy.
Yeah, but killing the Medusa is a good advantage for them. They trade a Roar and a Necro 3 for it, but that's fine. While Beastmaster's dead, his abilities will be off cooldown when he comes back, and he can use that to his advantage to get another kill in the future. So Archon just needs to keep getting kills. If they can catch up a little bit. It's still going to be a long time until Gyrocopter is able to fight as well as Medusa is, but luckily for him, he's a little bit more mobile and he can take a bit more control out of the team fight than Medusa can.
He's got 4.4k gold. He's going to, I think, maybe go for... Oh, it's going to be a Butterfly. I thought it would be an MKB as the Butterfly for Deuce, I'm sure, is going to be built eventually. MKB is going to be picked up for Monkeys. So they do have some extra damage their way now. Later on down
I don't know if that's the item, though.
the Butterfly or the MKB?
I see. I think TA had to get MKB because at some point Medusa will grab a Butterfly, actually it's also good against Brew. I guess he had to get MKB. If there wasn't Brew, you could maybe argue grab Daedalus and go for the other 4 heroes on the team and kill Medusa last. But with Brewmaster being there, they need a way to kill him rapidly, and they can't do it in just one roar duration. They just don't have the damage. So MKB could give that possibility. If they catch Brew by himself and Beastmaster's there, they can now roar and kill him with TA with a couple quick hits. So they've got some solutions here. They're looking like they have good damage on TA. I'm glad they didn't go BKB. I think it just would have been wasted.
Level 3 Supernova is up, and Whitebeard working on... He's got an ultimate orb, so a Scythe, potentially. Probably. What else? Could theoretically be a Lincoln's. I'm not sure that's the choice this game. So one of those 2 items for the...
Lincoln's on who? On Phoenix?
It's either the Lincoln's or the Scythe. One of the 2.
Probably Scythe, I would guess. More disables is really good if you're losing, and they have really good team fight. That way you can just hex the Void and try to kill him in 3.5 seconds, prevent time walk, stuff like that. I just don't think Lincoln solves anything really. All it'll stop is like a swap or a boulder smash or a venge stun or
right.
Not that many things.
With the damage that Archon have, they can theoretically burst through just about everybody on this team except maybe for...
oh, that was actually a mistake to Fate's Edict.
It's going
to take longer now.
Shivas. Well, they get the Aegis. It's going to be picked up by Jayo. They got the kill on the Void Boy's side. Now Monkey's in trouble. It's fading. There's going to be the Rope coming through. It'll be onto the Faceless Void. He still has his Chronosphere, but look at Moo just get chewed down on one side. On the other side, the Supernova will go. They won't lose anybody. The Broodmaster is, I think his ulti is just about done here, so it's actually going to be 1-for-0 trade. They lose the Roche, but they get the Aegis, and I think they got the Cheese on the Dire side as well, so they got both.
Radiant team did snipe the Aegis there. It was a small mistake by Pandago there. When he disabled Roche, or disarmed him, Roche couldn't attack, so he walked out of the pit. And I think if they could have just been DPSing him in the pit, it would have gone a little bit faster for them. And the Aegis might have been placed a bit better in that fight. Luckily for Archon, they did get the Aegis and the Cheese.
Right.
Dire's bottom tower
No gold going their way, but I don't think they're that concerned. However, the inevitable push is coming. They do not have their ultimates, and we'll see how much they want to commit to this. The Butterfly is being built. There is going to be the Talisman of Evasion. They're going to go to work. There's going to be the Fortune's End, but it'll only be for half a second. Whitebeard is just taking too much damage from the Zeus. 747 will get Sun Raid. Pandago's like, let's just break that Lincoln Sphere real quick. Now Monkey's going to jump in. He actually doesn't do any damage to him right now. That freaking Mana Shield is ridiculous. Plus, it's just too much with the Lincoln Sphere as well. Giving him too many stats, too much armor, too much HP. Hard to chew through.
Sunray's a bit limited against the Dusa as well. It does damage based on how much HP she has, and she has a lot of HP, but again, her mana is actually giving her a lot of survivability, so if she was just full on HP, Sunray would be a bit better, but as for now, it's just okay. The Hex is ready on Phoenix, so if he wants to buy it, that'll be good to have. Definitely priority number 1 target is either Brewmaster or Void.
It's tough. I mean, I was saying maybe you could burst these guys down before they get their ultis off, but if you burst one down, there's always maybe going to be the other nearby, ready for a chrono, ready for a split. So, Faceless Void, I think his teamfight ulti might be a little bit scarier. We'll see if they want to go ahead and deal with him, but he does have a Lothar as a Shadow Blade is up for Schwan. So he's got even more damage, even more mobility, plus the Blink Dagger on top of that all. They're going to, I think, go for the chrono onto Jayo here. They thought about it, but he backs away. I think he saw 747 coming in. He was a little bit concerned as to who was behind him, so they can't quite find that initiation.
You know, despite Jayo's KDA, his items are still pretty good now. He's got a Butterfly picked up, so he'll evade a lot of the Medusa damage, and the Brew damage as well is actually going to be heavily reduced from that. So I like the fast Butterfly here.
See, he's got
I think they can win some fights.
It's going to be tough, because it's like 2 pretty farmed heroes against around 3. I mean, they are a little bit ahead in net worth of Schwamp, but then you look at the other side, it's like, well, Moo fell off hard. Like, he was doing great early game, but look at him now. He's got 12,000 net worth. There's 14,000 for Whitebeard because he has that Midas, and now with the Scythe, that might be enough of a game changer, but it's still 2 big cores going up against roughly 3.
Yeah, very often Moo has been basically the trade for the fights. He usually is the one that gets committed to the fight. He jumps in, roars, and casts his Necro 3. He can't really disengage. He has to stick around to go for those kills. And if you trade your life away like that too many times, then it really does limit you the amount of items you have.
So what's the play here for Archon? Do they sit
Ganks,
back?
solo kills are definitely the way to go, but it's difficult. They do have some wards on the map, so they can spot some of the movements of the Radiant team, but it's also hard because Zeus keeps ulting randomly like that to spot where Archon is, prevent smoke ganks from happening, things like that.
Yeah, the cooldown is not that long, and imagine if he gets an Octarine. Could happen. I mean, he's not far off. He's got the Soul Booster. The Mystic Staff will come soon, which he has almost enough money for. There's the BKB picked up for the Templar Assassin, and this is the game you play with him as well as Jo. Can we avoid Chronosphere and just dish out enough damage to bring some of these heroes down? That's the biggest issue.
But almost everybody on Void Boys is super farmed. Even Zeus has got Octarine Core with an Aether Lens, Soul Ring, and a Force. So he alone is going to do tons of damage in this team fight and stay alive and heal. So, well, but with the BKB, it is countered. That's going to be a really nice advantage for Archon.
But the thing is also, with the Octarine Core, he'll be able to Zeus ult even more constantly. So getting a smoke off will not be easy, farming around the map will not be easy, but Archon says, screw that, we're going to have monkeys just run mid, and we're going to sit behind you. They've not done this the entire game, so this is a bit obvious, I suppose. They have the cheese. You can see the positioning on the high ground from 747 and the rest of Void Boys. We'll see what they can get done here. They're going to walk out of 747. He's going to get hexed up as well. There's the Chrono. On to 3 as well. Time dilation. No BKB for Jo. Look at that Maelstrom. They'll already lose 2. They'll lose the Aegis. Moo. He's low in health as well. The right clicks in Jo. 747 will bring him down. Monkeys forever. The BKB is doing nothing. He'll pop the cheese. But 747 is just at a shooting gallery right now. They'll take 4. They'll take 5. And that might be it. Void Boys just might march right down mid with no buybacks for Archon scores. They will take at least a tier 3 and more than likely a Rax or 2.
Man, how do you beat Faceless Void? You'd literally have to hex him and kill him in 3.5 seconds. But if they don't kill Void, then Brewmaster's gonna split or Medusa's gonna ulti. It's just so difficult. And they have Avenge there to cover somebody. Their lineup is looking very strong past the early laning stage due to these things. So, man, what a hard game for Archon. I think they did a great job considering what they're working with, but it's just clear that Faceless Void was too hard to deal with. The Chronospheres just end the fights.
Yeah, I mean, maybe dealing with one of these heroes with 747 on the Medusa or Patsol on the Brewmaster, maybe even 2, but you add the third with the Faceless Void and the Chronosphere, it's a recipe for disaster, and they're going to lose 2 sets of Rax, and if they lose a team fight here, it's going to be more likely the game. Will Void Boys go ahead and just finish this off with the question there? We're running a little bit low on mana for the Dusa. They have the Manta, they have the link, just up to 3.6k. They're even going to corral them into the well as they're going to jump in. They're looking for a Chrono. Pandago, look at the Glimmer off. There's the roar coming through the Lightning Bolt, but looks like Swan in some trouble now. He's going to get hexed up. There's the Sun Ray as well. He'll get swapped out, and he will get saved, it looks like. Time walking to be just avoid some of that damage, but still, they still have that Chronosphere. Lightning Bolt will go. This is a perfect Chrono opportunity, but he's not going to jump in. Zeus ult just destroys Moo, and they'll actually get the Shiva's Guard kill for Patsol. Jay will jump in. He actually pops the BKB. There's going to be the Supernova, and Schwan will just right-click that down with the help of 747. 3 dead. There's the Chrono, and this will be the end of the game as GG is called, and look at this. 35-11. Void Boys maybe struggling early, but that's a huge victory for them, and that'll help them a long way getting to the playoffs here after this Group C tiebreaker.
Yeah, it just seemed very one-sided at the end there. And definitely, even by the mid-game, very one-sided. The teamfight heroes were just a little bit too strong. Archon couldn't deal with it. And despite them farming and split-pushing decently well, they just didn't get enough value out of their heroes in their lanes. Felt like Oracle looked kind of weak that game. We didn't really see that many big saves, but the teamfights were just like an Oracle save wasn't going to be the difference between them winning teamfights. It was kind of like they had to split push all game, and they got that done. But once the teamfights finally came, the heroes just didn't link up well enough.
We're going to talk more about this game after a quick break. We will have our Canada Cup post-game report in just a moment here. So this is Void Boys winning their first game. The next game coming up is going to be Void Boys go against Power of Friendship. And so a win here would put them through. If they get 2-0, we will not even need to see that third game between Archon and Power of Friendship. So Void Boys here, if they can make this third or the second game happen with the same aggression, with the same play styles they had in this first game, they're going to be in good shape. We'll have to see how this happens as we will take a quick break, of course. We'll have Mottpax joining us. You can follow him on Twitter at Mottpax, myself at Mottdota, and Purge over at Purge Gamers. We'll be right back with game number 2 and the post-game report in just a second, guys. Stick around. right, everybody, welcome back to the Dota 2 Canada Cup post-game report here. We are here after our first game of this Group C tiebreaker, our last tiebreaker before we head into the playoffs, and it should be a lot of fun. Archon going down to Void Boys in the first game of the evening. Pretty surprising stuff. We have, of course, Purge joining us, as well as Montpax. Trent, I want to get your opinion on that game. It was a bit hectic, especially with the stream issues that we had going on, and I definitely need to apologize about that. But first, Trent, I want to hear your thoughts on the game.
Well, I think you guys might probably agree. It seemed a little bit odd coming out of the drafting phase there with that support Phoenix. I know we were all thinking like, oh, last pick support, then the Beastmaster comes out, and you're like, oh, okay. So I tried to think about it. I tried to think from their perspective. I was like, all right, so they were drafting these heroes, and I can tell I think they were thinking a lot about the Chronosphere, which didn't seem to show that game because they kind of got dumpstered by it, but when you think about it, like you're thinking like Oracle, I'm going to be casting Fate's Edict maybe from like outside. I don't know if that was the initial goal or something like that, or like the Phoenix Firebirds and stuff like that. And I think that maybe they were potentially kind of aiming towards the actual physical output of the Void during the Chronosphere, which is something which is very classic. I don't know. But like these days, of course, it doesn't matter, I guess. Like that's not at all the concern. So it seemed to me that like they drafted this lineup that actually does deal with old school Void, but it didn't seem to do anything to this guy.
So you're confused about the draft as I am. Like that's like because I wasn't really understanding it. Then again, it didn't help that I was turning the stream off and on every 5 seconds again. So all right, that's understandable. I mean, Purge, we talked at great length about this game. You talked about how the Oracle pick didn't work. Maybe you go for an offensive support there instead of maybe picking up something a little bit more defensive like an Oracle as a support for Archon. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm just not completely sold on Oracle yet. I liked it that game for its defensive purposes. I think it was a genuinely great game for defensive purposes. If you're talking about Face's Void, you can stop him from attacking somebody in Chrono. Not that that's the main source of damage, obviously, but It's one option. It's good against Zeus as well. Stop the Zeus damage if somebody's a little out of position. And he used that skill very well throughout the game. I totally agree with that. But Oracle ulti, also very good, but the problem is that other than that, you've got damage, and that's it. You don't have stuns, your gank ability or your ability to gank is a little bit weak. I just am not sold on the hero yet. I really think he's a little bit overpicked. Picking him in the first phase, I think is just not the way to go. I think he's very situational right now. I think teams are just overvaluing him a little bit too much.
Do you think he's stronger in a tri-lane or against certain heroes, or is he okay in
certain
that
heroes?
lane?
He's the purge ability is very good. If you're against a Darkseer, he's fantastic. So if it's a Darkseer offlane, definitely pick Oracle because you can just completely crap on that lane. Whenever they Iron Shell creeps, you just AoE Fate's or False Promise, or what's it called? Fate's Edict?
Mm-hmm.
False Promise, I think, is his first one.
Thinking about the debuff, Fortune's End.
Yeah.
His first one? His first spell?
Yes.
It's Fortune's End?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, False Promise is ult. Goddamn, I always confuse him, sorry.
Yeah.
But you can AoE remove Iron Shells. Like, that alone, like, just wastes Darkseer mana. So there's some places that he counters, and you can see it in, like, the design choices that Ice Frog does. How many more spells and things have purge abilities or debuffs, and how many more spells are purgeable? It's like a big knowledge gap that a lot of players need to learn, but he's opening up a place in the game where those kinds of abilities can be really useful. And as of right now, there's some things that Oracle is decent at, but there's not enough for him to be picked for that reason, I think.
All right, well, I do also want to add, going off that same point, Trent, do you think we're going to see a trend moving away from Darkseers with Oracle becoming a bit more popular now? What do you think about that?
I think it's kind of already started. Like, we don't really have... There's so many games where teams have the potential to go like Darkseer Gyro in the top 2, which used to be like the thing. You would be like amped up if you got that in your opening 2, and generally it was avoided, but... But there's kind of, I don't know if it's like a shifting in like more aggressive lanes or all this focus on push, and maybe you're just not able to come online early enough as Darkseer. Like, even though he is that fast mech, I don't know if he just doesn't seem to provide the stuff that teams are looking for right now. I'm not too sure about it. I mean, I still like the hero. I think he gets good farm out of that new like camp that's near his lane as well. He still works really well in conjunction with like Spearbreaker and Night Stalker and stuff like that. But It seems that teams are definitely like branching out into some other stuff, and I think, yeah, already he's starting to fall off, and he does fall into that category of, like, Oracle gets, counters him pretty hard, like, Legion Commander, same kind of idea during, like, her duels and stuff like that, heavy magic damage like Zeus, like, I think Oracle's kind of in the spot where, like, Omni Knight is, in a lot of senses, if people, like, gave Omni Knight a little bit more respect, like, just something that you can bring in to really counter, like, a couple of the heroes on your opponent's team.
Yeah, I can't wait to see some cool combos. I know Dakota was talking on Twitter about the Abaddon Oracle combo, so maybe that's something we'll see down the line. Might be a bit too greedy, maybe a bit too early game centric. However, we'll have to wait and see what teams do from here on out before the majors, during some other tournaments, and during the major as well. So with that, we will take a break. We will jump into our next game, which is Void Boys versus Power Friendship. Will Void Boys move on to the playoffs? Will Archon get another chance? We'll wait and see, everybody, as we will jump to our next game. But before we do, make sure you guys check out a couple of sites, esportsgaming.com, or esportgaming.com, rather. You can use the promo code Canada, and the link to it is, of course, esportgaming.com/Canada Cup, and you get a $15 bonus as well, so definitely check that out. Also, definitely check out Vulcan.com for fantasy esports, and go ahead and use the promo code Canada Cup if you're interested in free items and a 100% gold match. Before we do get into the next game, I do want to profusely apologize because there was an incident earlier on. We missed about maybe 20 minutes of the game, which is 100% unacceptable on my part. There's not really much you could do when you have Time Warner Cable or any ISP kind of screwing you over when it comes to drop frames. And that was something I maybe could have tested earlier on. I had my entire stream set up ready to go because, of course, JJ is not here. He's over at StarLadder. I was ready to go. I had everything that I needed, all of the overlays. I thought my internet was set up, and it wasn't. But now that's out of the way, we have yet to drop a frame here, knock on wood, as we will move into game number 2. So with all that out of the way now, we will take a break. We will jump into the next game, like I talked about, Void Boys versus Power Friendship. We'll see you soon, guys. Stick around.